Welcome to Albanian Stories, a series of interviews with extraordinary people from our diaspora.
Hello, Olsa.
Hello, Georgie.
Thank you for doing this. Thank you for taking your time on a Sunday to do this for the Albanian Stories podcast, and for everyone out there who will have an interest to listen on your story and other Albanian stories.
It's a joy and a privilege, and it's a Sunday, but it's a great Sunday here in Houston, Texas, and I will always be available to you, to my fellow Albanians anywhere in the world. It's my joy, truly.
Thanks a lot. Tell us a bit about yourself as a successful lawyer. When did you were born and raised in Albania, and
Yes.
then when did you move? How old were you when you moved to the US?
I moved to the United States in 1998. So, obviously I was, over 21 years old. No, I'm sorry, it was 1997, actually. It was 97. 98 was a different story, 97. And so I grew up in Albania. I was born and raised in Albania. I was actually born in a very tiny city. My mother and my father visited the in-laws there. And so, my mom, it's called Libraj, this beautiful, pristine city that I love so much. I have family there, so I was born there. And so, how the parents, the mother, the wife always followed the husband. So my dad's family was there. So my mom moved there. And so I grew up in a small, tiny city. And my primary education was there. So like elementary education till the 8th grade in Albania. So we're talking, again, early 80s. So thank you for commenting about, my job. I am an attorney, but I love being an attorney. I'm an immigration attorney. That's what I do, but it wasn't overnight. So yes, I think I've done well for myself, for my community here, but it wasn't overnight, right? I had to go through the basis, the education, which I think the core education was in Albania. I think the strongest education I received was in Albania. Now, I grew up personally during communist times. So I remember, I don't know, the youth right now probably don't remember, but I grew up during communism, and it's part of history, right? That is part when you go back, you say, I was maybe not fortunate to live it, but fortunate to know the history and to understand it. Because when I came to the United States, I met friends from all over the world. I met Chinese and I met Russians and Koreans, and I understood them more than anybody else because I know what that means, right? To come from a communist country. But my best memories come from Albania. Again, my elementary school was in Libraj. I started English there in the 4th grade. They had English, so I was chosen to do English 4th, 5th, and 6th, and 7th and 8th grades, and we had the best teachers. We had no computers. Didn't know what computers were at the time. We had no the books. Everybody should know the little books, essentials, starting the old ones. So
they were passed on from like generation to generation, like the same books.
Yes, the old books, but listen, whoever had it, one had it, and the 10 of us would be around and try to learn. Think about it. But despite the difficulties, and we just did 2 hours a week, right? That's how it was. But during the elementary school, but it was an incredible. When I think about our teachers, the talent we had in our teachers. Now they were very strict. I remember they were super strict. If I did anything wrong, my mom. There was no phone calls, but they would go and meet my mother wherever my mom was. And they did this for all the students, right? But I remember the teachers were just wonderful. I remember the vision of how lovely they looked, with, dressed pretty and kind. And so I was very fond of languages and social sciences. And the teacher told my mom that, I should be very good at it. I'm very good at English. I'm very sharp. I do well. And so then after my 8th grade, I applied to attend the High School of Foreign Languages, Asim Bokshi in Tirana, Albania, which was great because my mom's family is in Tirana. If you think about it, my father's family is from Vlora, historically, and my mother's family, they live in Tirana. My mom was born in Shkodra. So I have people from, all over Albania.
Everywhere.
High school was then in foreign languages, which it was all English. Everything we did was in English. There was a lab, I remember, that would be there once a week. Again, it wasn't, you need to understand, was still, the foreign language school was the best school, at the time. I don't know, I'm assuming it's still the top school there, but we had students who did different languages, and we all felt very cool because we could speak English to each other and nobody would understand us, Mind you, it was still the communism time, it was very strict. But what a education! I think what a great education that we learned so much. A friend of mine sent me a not too long ago, sent me a picture. And I don't know if you want to see it someday. I'll be more than happy to share with you. But it was a black and white picture of us in high school in Asimboche. Now, it should scare people, but I mean, when you look at that picture, it's black and white. We all have like coats because it was so cold. We have there are like, I think it's like 40 of us in the classroom. We're all piled together. So it's a very sad picture to see. Today I was like, oh, poor me. But it is, when you look at it, you're like, what is that? But what is impressive about it, it was very cold. So I remember looking at the where high school is, right? You can see the forest. You can see, Alikaj-Cano Park. So you could see, I remember looking at the windows, because there was no windows. There was 2 or 3 windows and there was no windows. It was so cold, but there was no windows. So we're all bundled together. But what I see that, and I think, and I look at my friends, at least half of us are all over the world doing great things. So there are doctors, there are engineers, there are attorneys in England, there are friends who are doing design in America. So my friends, we came from that, and we grew and we rose to something wonderful. So it makes me very happy. So when you see it, it's a sad picture, but you see it's really happy. In the end, because it tells me the story of how great we've done, right? So if you're determined, right, you push on, you do what you need to do to not only be successful, but to help others. So I'm very proud of my friends as well. So this was my high school. Then I attended the University of Foreign Languages for English. And then from there on, I had an interview at the U.S. Embassy. Embassy had just opened. And then I came to the United States with a student visa. I went to the University of Texas in El Paso, studying for political science and linguistics. I was always passionate about linguistics. I obtained double degrees with honors there, and I attended a pre-law institute program, which was initially geared for Hispanic students in El Paso, Texas. So there were a bunch of Hispanics, and then there was someone from Africa, and there was Olsa from Albania. They were very kind to us, so they let us in. And so they helped us apply, they mentored us, and so I applied for law school, and I got accepted to a few law schools, and I chose University of Houston. They were very kind to me. So graduated from the university. I was very passionate about immigrants, so then slowly my field became that of immigration. I took, licenses and developed my skills, and I worked for a very large firm initially for over a decade, and when I was competent and I had the means to do my own, I started my firm, Cano Immigration, 2 years ago, and we do exclusively immigration law, and I'm very grateful. That's my story for a little bit.
Yeah, but things for you, like, not exactly. Somehow, all of us like have this sense of moving away and like getting away from wherever we started. How much time it took you to go back, like to visit again?
So when I first came to America, I was here for a year, and then I was lucky to be accepted to a program in Greece in 1998. So then I went back to Albania to visit my family in 1998, which I was very fortunate.
Okay.
I was there for New Year's in 1998 to 1999, like that December, January, and so that was special. I was just so excited to go back. But then I finished my college. So I finished the university. For the next 4 or 5 years, I did not go to Albania, because you need to understand, as a student, every time is precious. And we're talking early 1990s, right? Maybe mid 1990s. So, the budget for every student is very limited to get that ticket to visit them. And so I did my best to contact and phones and all the things I could at the time. There was no Zoom, right? There was no Zoom or anything, so it was difficult. But I kept in touch, of course, to the best I could with family and friends, always with my friends. But I didn't go back, I think, till later. My family, I was fortunate. My family, actually, even my grandmother, bless her heart, the best. My grandmother, I love her to death. When I graduated, I was fortunate to have my parents visit and be there part of my graduation. Which was such a huge, honor for them to see what I had accomplished, because I always felt like I wish my parents were here to see what I've done. But they were there, they saw everything was wonderful. And then, of course, later on I got married, so my grandmother came with my parents and my sisters. So I've been very fortunate. I think I always knew how to handle immigration and the consulates, and because I took care of my family coming here and going back, and it was a joy. So I visited as much as I can. I wish I could visit more. All Albanians will tell you this. We always have regrets of not visiting more. And as I grow older and as I'm more in my profession, I'll visit more. But it took, the second time I went took like good 5 years, and then I visited back a few years later. So the entire time I've been here, I've been trying to go every 3 years if I can. The last time was a good 4 years ago, and with COVID, I haven't traveled, but obviously it's home, and I cannot wait to go visit everybody. And this year is the Europe. Tirana is the youth capital of Europe, which is so impressive and so beautiful. And I look at our youth and with so much hope, And of course, Tirana looks stunning.
It's a huge. Remember how it used to be, like the gap between generations, like. Now the gap is even wider between generations. Yeah. And the age groups, let's say, are smaller. For example, now there's a huge difference in people that between, even if they're like 5 years apart.
Yes.
It used to be like 10, 15, something like that. And now it's like a huge, there was a big like cultural and political clashes that like affected everything. So, and even the movement of people around and abroad, from Albania abroad, and from the villages to the cities, and to smaller cities to bigger cities. It was all this, like, for all these years, like, it's been like this mix of movement around, and as you can like testify yourself or like witness yourself in America, like all the people like coming in from all over the world, like people are moving from everywhere, like.
But that's the beauty of it. Migration and immigration used to be, people always left because of a need, right? And a lot do today as well. But when you think about it, particularly now in the 21st century, a lot of people go for experience, and they go, they go and come back. Like they go, so immigrants, it's part of changing the world. Like when you have immigrants moving around, it's part of changing the world. And so during communism, I mean, nobody could come to Albania really, and then we couldn't leave the country, and nobody knew about us. But I think now with so many people around the world, definitely America, we have Albanians everywhere doing great here, but also in Europe, I think they're seeing our community, they're seeing our people, and the new generation is actually being born in Europe, right? Because of their parents and everything. So to see them do so great, it's just a joy, because nobody could see us before, and I think they can see us now. So people will be moving, and it's part of life, I'm personally for open everything. I mean, not necessarily open borders, but I'm for open trade, open borders, because people have the right to live wherever they choose to and share their experiences. And I think we're better if we share our experiences with the world.
How is built, or how does function the Albanian community there in Texas or in Houston? Because like Texas is a whole.
Yes. Well, Houston has a community, and I'm happy to say that there are so many communities of Albanians around the United States. I'm sure around the world, but around the United States. And so Dallas has its own community, because Texas is huge, and our cities are huge. So Dallas is a great community. Houston is a beautiful community, and it's called Arboria. Of course, it's Albanian.
Cool.
With so many Albanians. There is a school. We even started, I think, one of the first in Texas to start our school in Albanian language. It's called Uda Shkronjave. So it's for kids who want to learn Albanian, right, for the new generation. Because when you grow up in America, it's very hard, unless you speak it every day. Albanian is a rare and beautiful language, but it's not an easy language to learn. So there are different schools in Dallas as well, but Houston has its own school, and it's all run by teachers, Albanian teachers who are volunteers. So nobody pays for that. They just do it because they do it on the weekend, because they're passionate about our culture and our language.
But the subjects that are taught in the school are is just Albanian the language, or even there are subjects like geology or physics that are.
As of right now, it's the Albanian language.
Okay.
We actually had not too long ago, I think a couple of years ago, we had the Albanian ambassador to the United States bring some books in Albanian. It was very nice. They brought books in Albanian. So there's a lot of, so they learned the language, but they learn music through language. They learn our songs. They learn some part of history. They learn our poems, fanoli, and all that. So when we do our we always celebrate Independence Day for Albania, Independence Day for Kosovo. We celebrate our New Year's and Children's Day and Women's Day and International, like Mother's Day, all of these things. So there's always a program from the kids, and they all come in their beautiful Albanian costumes. So to answer your question, it's not a school where you can do everything in Albanian, like geography and geology or physics, which I think would be ideal someday.
But it's a start.
Actually, this is a great start because it's about the language and it's about the culture and the history and our music and our poems and our art. And so it's actually wonderful. It's very wonderful. And it's run by volunteers, which is very special. Nobody gets paid to do this. They do it because we all love our language. So it's a great community, and it's we have music all the time, and we invite singers from Albania, which we love, so it's been cool.
What is the most famous Albanian you might have met during the years there? Yeah.
You know what? Actually, it's hard to say, but my favorite singer of all time is Irma Libova.
Okay.
It's my favorite of all time. It's Irma. Irma is like, Manira. And so when she came to our Albanian Independence Day, and sang, it was just, amazing. And I have pictures with her, and I was like the biggest fan. It's all of us girls, and we're just like a picture. It always shows up on my Facebook like every year because I absolutely love her. I hope we invite her again, and I look forward to visit her. I want to meet Alikaj-Cano because she's from Laura, where my dad is. So Aurela, if you're listening to this, I've communicated with her. She's wonderful. So all of this, I like strong Albanian women. That's where my love is. So I've been passionate about women because there's so much strength in Albanian women. Men too. I'm not. I don't want to be like men are going to say she hates me. No, absolutely. But I love Albanian women. I come from family with strong Albanian women. My grandmothers, both of them, from my mom's side and dad's side, were very strong women. My mother is a very strong woman. My sisters, both of them, doing great around the world. One is in England, one is here in El Paso, doing beautiful, are very strong women. So my mother-in-law is a very strong woman. So I love strong, passionate women. And, so if I wanted to meet one Albanian woman would be Mother Teresa. Everybody loves Mother Teresa. I think she's probably the strongest of all of us. I mention her all over, and I listen to her, like to her messages and to her books and to everything. And I have her inscriptions in my heart. But those are the Albanian people that I really like. Again, I've been here over 20 years, so it's hard. But I look forward to coming back and meeting all the strong.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, if we didn't have strong women, we wouldn't be here. Like we would be like I don't know, all over the place.
Thank you for applauding.
Well, no, it's the same discussion we were having. Well, it's the same discussion we were having with Gazim before on the interview before. It's this idea that we are suffering from having weak men in our society, and these weak men are actually those who get to present themselves mostly as strong men. But it's just like this typical obsolete figure of the honorable man with nothing to do whatsoever.
Are you talking about politics, or are you talking in general?
Yeah, in general, and it's like we actually need more support from women on raising these men right, just like from when they're little, because they keep repeating the pattern of their own fathers. They married, they just spoil them, and they just have different rules for boys and different rules for girls, which might have sense, might make sense, but it's like when it comes to choices, boys are free to choose whatever they want to do. Girls are more no, you can't do this, you can't do that, and boys go out in the world. Boys go out in the world totally unprepared, undisciplined, and they just they end up in trouble, or they don't have the life they might have had. While girls go out in the world just to get married.
Yeah, okay. I understand what you're telling me, and I understand your points. It saddens me to hear that, a little bit, because I was hoping that this new generation, we're talking about the new generation, right? I was hoping this new generation would be hopefully better. So I don't want to blame the mothers. Let's not blame the mothers. Because we have mothers and fathers in a relationship. So I want to be equal to both. But listen, in the end, right, we're all grow up in a society. And I understand when you say that women are brought up differently than men. I grew up in a society when that was it. I know that. And my parents were strict parents, and we were three girls, so maybe if we're boys, they would have been not as strict. I know that. In my personal life, that discipline helped me handle things. Not being spoiled helped me handle the world. Helped me be successful. And I'm not saying successful to brag. Successful because I came in a foreign country. Everyone who comes in a foreign country, woman or man or child, they are on their own, right? Especially if you're an immigrant. Like, things are not handed to you. You got to earn them. And when you come with discipline and a sense of being humble, being brave, being strong, being grateful, right? Having respect for women, which is a priority for all men to have. I know I'm not going to judge Albanians. I mean, I have a lot of friends who are Albanians, who are wonderful. But again, they had very strong mothers. And so without having that, you will not be successful in the world. So you can be a spoiled brat in Albania, and I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for it, but I don't care. I'm a strong woman. I don't care. You can be spoiled brat and strong. You're going to get whatever, but if you want to be successful, that thing lasts so long. You're not going to be successful in the world if you do not respect women and if you repeat the sins of your father, as I say, or the mother, whoever it is. So you make a very good point. There is no excuse, particularly today. There is no excuse. Albania is growing, is becoming such European. I think eventually we'll be even stronger in Europe. I think we're doing relatively well because now they see our people, right? I mean, we're all over the world. So there's no excuse for boys to behave horribly, for men to behave like boys. So they got to step it up, follow the rule, respect women. When kids are grown up here, they do not touch a woman. They're told, no, you do not touch a woman. It's a girl. It's a tiny. When you're tiny, if a woman hits you, you don't hit back. Then you say yes, ma'am, each time. They're little kids. If you talk to little kids in Texas, particularly, they say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, and they're little tiny. So that's how they are raised. So you do not, no matter how hard, no matter how horribly wrong woman is, that's what they learn. You do not touch a woman back. You do not hit a woman back. So when we start having that conversation, since little kids, I know you're laughing. You're like, it's not going to happen, but it's going to have to happen because women.
The thing is,
because women, listen, women are not taking it. I'm telling you. I've seen what's happening in Albania. Women are not taking it. They're snapping back. All right.
Well, not. They are actually. The discussion is they're divided in those who can take action and those who can't even speak for themselves, and there are the authorities and the institutions that should have the final say in everything that are not even in the discussion. That's the whole.
Yeah,
thing.
I do think our government can do more. I think there's got to be more, from the childhood, but also our government, the educational system needs to be, more of equality when it comes to gender, and because I think that helps as well. But there is a problem. I hear you. I see the stories every day. So what you're telling me, I completely feel and understand because it happened when I was in Albania and it happens now. I just think now, hopefully, there is, more of a choice for women. But there is a huge problem. The problem exists, and we need to. If we want to be part of Europe, we got to act like Europe, right? We got to get better.
Well, now with the possibility and with the options that like women have on education and on entrepreneurship and like opening a business and being more financially independent. Things are getting like for this category, it's like getting a lot better. It's a whole other world, like compared to whatever like when finances are like what is sorry. Finish.
I absolutely understand. I think most importantly for all women, that's the first lesson. You got to be independent. And I tell this not to women who are married, not married, anyone. You got to be able to stand on your own feet. You got to be, strong. You got to be independent. You got to be prepared. No matter how beautiful your life is, you got to be prepared for emergencies and everything. So I expect, I like when women are prepared and independent, and a lot of women like to raise children. I'm all for that. A lot of women stay home. I'm all for that. But I'm all for educated, powerful women who just stand on their own. It's great to have a husband. I have a husband. I'm very happy. But you stand on your own.
Does this come from an attorney, from an immigration attorney, or is it just like this? Like universal
No, I
wisdom.
totally. I've actually. It's funny. I've been like this. You know, if you talk to friends of mine, I've been like this since in Albania. Like, you know, I've never thought that, you know, marrying would change. You know, would make me better. You know, I wanted someone to be equal with me, but and someone to share my life with. But I never. I wanted an equal, and that would have been great. But and that is great. You know, I thought at the time. But a partner, not. You know, just someone of with equal ideas and to make both our lives better. But I always wanted to work on myself because that was my priority. So when I, even going through my schools in Albania, being married, you know, which was the norm at the time, it was never my biggest concern. School and education was always my biggest concern. And you know what? My parents made it very clear to me, my mom and my dad. I'm very grateful because to them, that's what they stressed for me as a little child, the independence and trying, you know, doing great in school. And that's what I tell everybody today when I give presentations, in any language, by the way, whether it's in Albanian, English, or in Spanish, that, you know, I want women and men too to be independent, to be educated, to make their own choices. There's nothing more beautiful than making your own choices. I mean, we left our country, right, for me a long time ago, for better choices, for freedom, and you're free when you're willing and able to make your own choices and not depend on a man. So this is me being Albanian, core, hardcore to you, and maybe an attorney a little bit because I've seen things here, but.
We have this sense of we are sharpened in a way that, like, I don't think other ethnicities or other nations, other countries have, like, I don't know what is it in here. We are like we are sharpened to a point that I don't know. How did that help you in your career? Because like immigration, like, is like tough.
Yes, you're right. You know, I honestly feel very grateful to have been born in Albania, and I have a lot of pride being Albanian. My husband always tells me, and he laughs. He's like, "Yes, your favorite, you know, color is black and red. Your car is black and red. You know, I have to have my flag. You don't see it here, but I have flags and stuff somewhere. And so, you know, it's who I am. It's in my core, and it's given me, I think, the strength. And again, I come from a very strong family of women, so it's given me the strength to carry on. And you say you're sharp. You're right. We are sharp. But we're sharp because I think if we think about Albania and history, I think our people are very sharp people historically, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so it's not unknown that we come from a generation of, you know, beautiful, strong people, writers and women and all that. I mean, Mother Teresa, you tell people Mother Teresa, that's it, shut up, everybody. You know, I come from the country of Mother Teresa. That's all you got to say. I mean, Mother Teresa wasn't 6'3" or 185 centimeters. She wasn't, you know, dressed in like diamonds. She was a tiny little person bundled with love and strength. And so it tells you, and she came from Albania. That's where she came from, you know, that's where her parents and everything. So I think we have it in us. We have the strength, the courage, the sharpness, strong mind, and beauty. I mean, you know, Albanians are beautiful people, inside and out, I think, in my personal opinion. And so I don't take that for granted. So I'm going to tell you something. When I came to America, I felt very great about myself. I felt very great about my school. You know, I felt very great about the English language that I had. So I only wanted to move forward and do better and better. It's not easy. There are challenges, but I kind of felt, and people are so kind. I'm going to tell you something. When people see you try hard in this country, they're very good to you. Okay, doesn't mean there are no challenges, but they're very good to you. And so I think that when you're also kind, like I said, coming from a culture where I was taught to respect people. I was taught to respect the elders, right? And so I was kind to my professors, and I learned so much, and I was kind to my friends. And in that kindness, and of course sharpness, because I did my job. I studied very much every day. It tenfold came back to me with greatness, because I was given opportunities that I would have not gotten had I not been, you know, the Albanian with strength and perseverance. But I see that strength and perseverance in a lot of Albanians here, immigrants. I'm going to tell you that. And I have a list of great friends here who are doing wonderful things: doctors, lawyers like me, you know, teachers, engineers. And Houston has a great academic community, you know, great professional community. So I think it has helped me, you know, do great. Being Albanian never hindered me. I've said many interviews. I said, I started my presentation with, my name is Olsa Alikaj-Cano, and I'm an Albanian. I grew up in Albania. And that's my first sentence in every presentation. I want everybody to know. And that is special. That is very special. Being Albanian is very special to me. And being, again, an immigrant led me to be an immigration attorney. It's very difficult. I handle people's problems every day. They cry in my office often, but it's a very beautiful, number one, it's a profession that I love, but also it's a very rewarding job for me to help others.
Would you change something of you, if you had the powers to change something of you, of our culture, maybe that it's not, which is not, which is not good, which is like a fault or like something, I don't know, like.
Yes, I would. I would absolutely. The next president of Albania should be an Albanian woman president, period. I would change that. I want an Albanian president today.
I was thinking something like something in your character or something in the Albanian character.
In my character, what I would change?
Yeah.
Ooh, what I would change? You know what? Yes and no. So maybe I have something that I know it's a hindrance in my character.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So I'm gonna be polite how I put it so that you understand. Patience. I don't have patience. That's an Albanian thing because I see it with my Albanian people. We don't have patience. Do you understand me?
No, yeah. Okay.
And I'm getting a little better, but I don't have patience. So if I would change that to more like calmness a little bit, to something like just wait, I think that would be a miracle. But then when I think about it, if I had more patience, then it wouldn't be me.
Yeah. Give me an example. Please. Anything.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Well, I have to think about this, an example. Like when I'm handling things, for example, with my clients, right? And I'm filing applications and I'm doing something great and you wait on the government and you just, and I'm like, all right, I did great, we should win it. Why are we waiting? I'm kind of impatient on other people's doing things, which I cannot control, right?
Yeah.
And so,
yeah.
So it's like when I'm stressed, everybody around me is stressed, right? When you do a job or in or handling taking my mother to the doctor. Okay, we're waiting forever. What is it? People never wait on me in my office. Why are they, things like this that you cannot control. And does it make sense? And it makes me, it annoys me very much and very fast. But then again, I'm one of these people that if there's something happening, I'm waiting, I have to inquire what's happening. So if the doctor is late, I'm like, what is happening to the doctor? Is he okay? Is there a problem? Things are happening and waiting with my, for my clients, right? For every immigration benefit we're asking. I want to inquire and find out, is there a problem? Did they receive it? Do they have an issue? So yes, if I'm calmer, it helps me and the team, but maybe not being, or patience, not calm. Calm is a different story, but patience. But then if I am as patient as I want to be, maybe I wouldn't follow up and be the persevering, fast, snappy person I need to be to help others. So it's like a double-headed sword. I still think patience would be something good for all of us. Because even when I have my Albanian clients, they want things overnight, and sometimes you wait on other people. So I'm getting better as I'm trying to teach my clients. I'm getting better here myself. But yeah, patience would be something I would love to change. And yeah, it's not gonna happen.
At least control. Have control over it. Like to know where to.
Yeah.
Where to. What type of cultural and information or what type of content reaches you there?
From Albania.
Yeah, from Albania, yes. Kosovo. Since we are from Albania.
Yes. That's of course Kosovo too. Like if you look at by the way, I want to make sure everybody understands. If you look at my webpage, I wanted my webpage, which is Cano Immigration, to be in 3 languages. So it's in English, Albanian, and Spanish because I speak those 3 languages. And of course, in my Albanian, you have the Albanian flag and the Kosovo flag. So everything is in my language because clearly it's who I am. So yeah, when I say Albanian, it's everybody, right? Because Shqiptarët janë Shqiptar ku do në bëj.
Yep.
I do get a lot of content that is cultural, political, from my friends everywhere, jokes everywhere. So it's I get it all, and honestly, I because my job, as I said, is stressful. I like to look at my phone and my Facebook and or Instagram, and I see something and it's great. Like like I said, I see Alikaj is giving her concerts everywhere, and I feel like I'm there. Or I see something political happening. It's a lot of drama happening lately. I know that, and I'm looking at it, and I see how great the president of Kosovo is doing. It makes me so happy. So I follow contact. It's in the 21st century with so much, contact
Tools for access.
through the media, through Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I get a lot of it. I get from everywhere. I get the humor, from Fake Off. I love it about them. I mean, how could you not, And so I do get a lot of information, and I want to make myself, available to watch that content and be, and then of course I have family, so I communicate and see how they're doing. I have best friends in Albania who are wonderful, and so of course I'm always getting as much information because I want to be informed. I want to be informed about my country.
Is there anything like that you would say to all Albanians if you had the chance? But let's say this is your chance to say something to all Albanians everywhere.
Yes, I mean, I think, what I know about my people is there is a lot of pride in each and every one of us. And so I'm grateful for that. And I know Albanians love, wherever they are all over the world, they love their country. So I want the Albanians in Albania and Kosovo to know that people who leave, number one, they don't leave because they don't love our country. That's not the case. We just want to make it better. And immigrants never leave, right? We always go back. We always do something. So that's one thing. But I think if I have to say one thing for maybe the youth, I want to say that, I came to this country in 1997 with very little, with just my education and my strength that I had, and my pride and my dedication. And, if you commit yourself to anything you want to be, you can do that. And this is not a cliche. You can be whatever you want to be, everybody.
No, I know.
That's not it. But I came from Albania. I didn't come from richness. I came with a dream. I still think I was fortunate as well. But, but I applied myself. I learned English and all those great things in Albania. But, I could do it. I was the girl that came from a tiny city with income like everybody else. My parents were not wealthy. So I was able to do something that I think was positive, that it helps now a lot of people, not just Albanians, but people from all over the world come immigrate to this country and make a better life for the family. So I think anything is possible if you try, just be like patient, which we Albanians don't have, but also, and then try harder. But also for me, something else that I tell, because I don't want to create things. I like to borrow from the greatest mind of all Albanians, which I think is Mother Teresa, which says not all of us can do great things, but we can all do great things can do small things with great love, right? So every day, if you do something small to help somebody, that's what she means. She didn't mean like just go out and save the world, but it starts with your family. So do something small every day, when I was in Albania with my friends, we didn't have a lot of money, but we would always share and buy coffee for each other. Okay, that's a good deed when you tell your friend, here, you can have a coffee and I can pay for it, right? Little things like this, they don't have to be great, but they make a huge difference. And I remember those things as a student in Albania. We'd all gather our little money and we're like, okay, 2 of us have, 2 don't, but can we pull together and get coffee today? And that was a big deal. Do you remember the days? I don't know about you, but those were the good old days when with everybody for coffee was great.
You started with pride and you ended up with coffee. You could have just said Albanians, be patient. That was all about, and that could have been it, right? Yeah. So I have a quick round of questions for you.
Oh God, yes.
Please, please focus. And we have this lightning round that we try to come up with a percentage of how much Albanian are you.
Oh God!
And everybody.
Don't embarrass me. I'm 100% Albanian.
Yeah, it's like everything else is this can be totally manipulated and everything the results after. So don't worry, we can take out anything you want, and it's and not limited to etc. Okay.
All right.
How many people were attending your wedding?
I had about 500 people.
Which is stronger, Rakia or God?
Rakia.
What are your thoughts about Bamia?
Don't like them. I hated them back as a little girl. Don't like them. I don't like them here. I never liked them in Albania. They're just not good. I never knew how to cook them. They're bad.
Have you ever brought food or covers or stuff like that from Albania to the US?
Yes. For my wedding, my parents brought lokume from Albania, made to me. I don't know how they brought them from the Customs and Border Protection. It was horrible, but it was the best thing. It was in every table, beautifully done. Yes.
Baklava or kadayif?
Baklava.
Yeah, it's cool. It's awesome. You didn't take even too much time for you to answer rakia.
I am Albanian. You know what? I used to, I brought rakia. I always bring rakia, but that's not a thing because I use it for like if there's a problem, health problem, we use it. So always rakia, always.
Thank you, Olsa, for doing this. It was awesome listening to your story and to the whole thing and to your inspiring words towards all of us. And thank you for reminding us because we always forget that we have this pride in us, but we just have the pride and we forget how great we are as people.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you
Don't
for
ever
making
forget
that.
that.
Yeah, we take it for granted. It's like we're great and we just go around as great people. We never act, not never act, but sometimes we don't go within us and see.
We got to tap into our greatness,
Yeah.
not as a show off, but as a strength to serve others, because that's what Mother Teresa did, and that's what the good leaders do. So
Tapping into our greatness. That was awesome. Thank you, Olsa.
it has been a joy. I wish all Albanians all over the world, my brothers and sisters and mothers and everyone, God bless everyone because and I have a lot of love for everybody. So God bless Albania and Kosovo and all Albanians and Kosovars wherever they are in the world.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.